All this action from the Formula 1600s is proudly brought to you by Investchem. And the South African Superbike Championship is proudly brought to you by Liqui Moly and their associate sponsors. Big welcome to Zwartkops, the home of the Extreme Festival and Extreme National Motorsport, back in the house here at its home track. And for round 5 action now, we're looking forward to all of it, as well as the big crowds who've come out here to experience everything that happens out on the black stuff. We start with the Formula 1600s, proudly brought to you by Investchem. The return of Julian van der Walt is a major factor this weekend, and the ex-champion who's been overseas in America doing great stuff in the road to Indy, and that's where everybody else in this championship is looking to go next year, if they can win it. So far, Scott Temple has been the dominant force, but Julian van der Walt's return will definitely be a concern for him. Not too much in terms of championship points, but for the race wins. Good to see Schofield back in the house as well, and he's done a massive effort to put all of these 1600 drivers in contention for that Mazda Road to Indy competition. Lining up on the grid now, you can see they're ready to go. It's Julian van der Walt who is on pole position, alongside him Temple. Then you've got Andrew Schofield with one of the best qualifyings he's had, beating out Nicholas Van Wheelie. Issues here on the start line, pulling to the side and being pushed off the track. That is not what you want. And Brennan Tracy is definitely not the way he wanted to start this race, that is for sure. The lights are about to go off though, and we're about to go racing. Gerard looking over the wall there, onto one of his cars as they head down towards turn number 1. At this time out, is it going to be an Investchem car? It is. Julian van der Walt just squeezing out, I would say just squeezing out Temple. Temple gave him a good run for his money, but into turn 2, he's got to the whole shot and got through. Lieutenant Colonel Alan Meyer around the outside of GELDENHUYS as they come out there. Gerard GELDENHUYS, and coming through the back, look out for Claudio Piazzamusso. Good start here from our Formula 1600s, and everybody just tucking in, waiting for opportunities. Don't want to go too soon because these tyres take about 2 laps to get up to heat. These Cooper tyres they're on. GELDENHUYS in the ABACUS Divisions racing machine, heading up the hill now and looking for a chance to maybe just squeeze out the cars in front. Alex Voss is one of them. Siyabonga Munkunkwana in that mid-pack. Such a great start coming out of Alex Gillespie. He's got Thiago Rebello just ahead of him. And look where we are looking for Zach Edwards, a bit further back from that. As they head down the hill towards turn 8 to complete the first lap, it's Schofield ahead of Van Wheelie for 2nd and 3rd, Rebello ahead of Gillespie for 4 and 5, and across the line it is Julian van der Walt who leads things out. Van der Walt with Temple on his tail, the rest of the pack come through. Look out for Ivana Setinic looking for a Class B win here, ahead of Alan Meyer. Those two fighting for Class B honours in this pack of 1600s. Van Wheelie hasn't found a way through just yet. We go on board with him. The man from Linden, the magnificent paint and hardware store, and looking for a chance to be magnificent himself, but he's got Schofield, who really has turned things around here. Andrew Schofield has found some great pace this weekend, and running one of the top positions we've seen from him in a long time. Thiago Rebello just behind that, fending off the attack from Gillespie. Gillespie's got Zach Edwards. Look out for the charge coming out of Setinic and Munkunkwana. But it's Temple, who just doesn't seem to have anything at the moment on Julian van der Walt. Van der Walt controlling things from the front end. First 4 starting to get away. In fact, the first 2, just a small margin over that second 2 cars on the circuit. So it's 2 packs of cars heading down towards turn 8. Make it 3. They go through there almost exactly the same, but Edwards now starting to close in. Look out for Alex Voss as well, as Alex Voss has made a maneuver to get through there and is now tucked in behind Gillespie. So the 2 Alex is going to be fighting hard, that's for sure, as they head back down towards turn 2. Nice drive there from Setinic. Setinic putting the pressure on, and GELDENHUYS just pulling slightly away there. Thiago Rebello's point of view coming out of turn 2. And the TRMS car just with a bit of pressure coming from Gillespie and Zach Edwards. And Zach Edwards also finding some great pace. His best pace so far this season in a Formula 1600. He's just off the back end there of Gillespie. Gillespie could be in trouble in a couple of laps' time. And we've got Lieutenant Colonel Alan Meyer bringing up the rear end, trying to close down there on that lady, Ivana Setinic, for Class B honours. And the LT's got a bit of work to do. 4-2. Good to see this man back in South Africa and showing that he's still got what it takes to beat the South African pack of Formula 1600s. Having spent a couple of seasons now in the United States of America, he definitely has got some good international experience behind his belt. And now wants to put it all to fruition here today. Gillespie pushing hard now, looking for a way through on Rebello. Can you get him under braking? He closes, but he's not close enough to make a move stick. Rebello a little bit sideways. Oh, just runs a bit wider than what he'd like. That might give Gillespie a chance. Yes, Gillespie's going to have a look into turn 1, but he's not good enough on the brakes. Just showed him a wheel. That's allowed Edwards to close in on him though, so Zach Edwards could possibly spoil the day here for both of them. And behind them, it's Munkunkwana and Alex Voss, who have now closed that gap down as well. So a big gap there between the top 2 and the second 2 as they get onto that back straightaway. It looks like there's no answer right now from Van Wheelie. Van Wheelie on the back end of Schofield. Andrew Schofield doing a super job. Look at this battle though, just behind that. Oh, Rebello forcing Gillespie wide. Zach Edwards going to make him pay for it. We're looking in the rearview mirrors. No, we don't see Zach. He comes across and looks for the inside line to the top of the hill into turn 5. Gillespie, has he got through on Rebello? Yes, he has. Good move there. Just forced the youngster into a mistake. And a problem there. Looks like Claudio Piazzamusso pulling to the sideline. So Piazzamusso out of this one and out of race number 1 completely. Race 1, top 2 getting away, as I said. No answer whatsoever just yet from Scott Temple. But Temple will be well aware that Julian van der Walt is not involved in this championship. So even second place is going to be good enough. He's got a big margin in the championship anyway as it is. So nothing really to worry about. Ivana Setinic has got a big gap as well for Class B. This is Schofield into turn number 4, Volkswagen corner. And this time, oh, great move. Nick Van Wheelie eventually getting through. And coming into the final stages now. Oh, Gerard Geldenhuys out of shape. Sure, very lucky not to hit that side wall through turn 1, but he's ended up in the kitty litter. That could be a problem, but it is on the last lap. You see him showing his hands, gesticulating. He's got the car. Fortunately, he put the clutch in and didn't stall it, so he should be able to get back on track. Leader's heading down towards the checkered flag now. So there shouldn't be any incidents and no necessity for a safety car. As they come down onto the braking markers, it is going to be Van der Walt to take the first victory. He'll beat out Scott Temple. Temple will still maintain his lead in this championship with a second place. And very happy man there, and a welcome return for Julian van der Walt. Van Wheelie eventually came through for third place behind Van der Walt and Temple. Then it was Andrew Schofield in the Investchem car beating out Alex Gillespie, Thiago Rebello and Zach Edwards, with Ivana Setinic in 8th place and winning Class B. Good first dice in that first race of the day, and a massive improvement coming out of Zach Edwards. Laren Muse down in pit lane waiting with the youngster.
Zach, Investchem Formula 1600 race 1. Well done.
Thank you. It was my best race to date. The qualifying went really well, which gave me a good start. And the start of the race was pretty good, so I'm happy with how that went.
Welcome back to action from the Investchem Formula 1600s, race number 2 now on board with Andrew Schofield as he rolls up to take his position on the grid for race 2. Julian van der Walt has already taken 1 victory here today. Can he make it a double here today and possibly spoil it for Scott Temple? Van Wheelie looks across at his rival. He has to beat Scott Temple today, no matter what. Otherwise, this championship will be slipping away from him very rapidly. Let's stand by as they head down towards. The lights go out, aerial material, and through into turn 1. It is van der Walt. Much better start though from Van Wheelie. He tries to go around the outside of Scott Temple and doesn't quite make it stick. And then you can see in the background Gillespie running wide and allowing an opportunity. Was that Alex Voss who dived through? It might have been. Ooh, a touch. The 39 car there of Zach Edwards going right up the tailpiece of Ivana Setinic. She was very lucky to survive that one. Geldenhuys nearly makes the capitalization on that and tries to get through on Ivana. We're on board with Ivana as we go through turn 3. Closing down on Thiago Rebello just ahead of her. It's Gillespie just ahead of the two of them, and now trying to sort things out into Volkswagen corner. Setinic just a little bit sideways. Cold tyres into turn 4. It was a cold day and the track temperature wasn't quite up to the normal track temperatures we'd have here at Zwartkops. That wasn't affecting the top 2 though, or even the top 3. Schofield lost a little bit of ground in the first lap to close down on 3rd place Van Wheelie, but he's in 4th place and ahead of the second pack of cars. Second pack at this stage led out by Voss, then it's Gillespie. You can see just how hard those two are working to try and open up a little margin over Rebello and Setinic. And in fact, Ivana Setinic has got through there on Thiago. Thiago Rebello losing out to the young lady. And the karting rivalry will start to heat up as they come across to complete the first lap. Behind that, they start to spread out, looking for opportunities to dive through. Alan Meyer's in there as well, fighting hard to try and beat Ivana Setinic this time for Class B honours. Brendan TRACEY did make it out, and this time is racing, not parked on the sideline. Good to see that. Siabongo Monkonkwana in the middle of that pack as well. And just behind it is the return of Claudio Piazzamusso. So everybody back on track from the first race that had some incidents. They've all been sorted out and allowed to race now for race 2. Top 4 evenly spread. 5 and 6 starting to fight it out now, and Gillespie dives on the inside. And a good move there from Voss to shut the door. Alex Voss, very, very close attendance though coming from this man, Alex Gillespie. Is he good enough on the brakes to close things down even more? Up into turn 5, closes it down, looks on the inside, tucks in. Good drive there, much better line coming out of Gillespie. Voss just with a slightly wider line into turn 5. This time he shuts the door into 6 and 7. The running is Van der Walt at this stage with Temple on his tail. Then it's Van Wheelie, Schofield in 4th place. Battle for 5th, heating up dramatically now as Gillespie closes on the back end of Alex Voss. So Alex Gillespie fighting hard there. This is Scott Temple's point of view out of turn 1. And a little bit wide there. He's just not able to close that gap down on Julian van der Walt at the front end. But as I said, he's not too worried about van der Walt in this championship. He's got more concerns to take into account behind him and how far back Van Wheelie is. Munkonkwana applying the pressure now, trying to find a way through there on Alan Meyer. Nice battle between the two of them. And Meyer's, he looks across. He realizes Munkonkwana was coming, gave him a little bit of room. But he's also looking behind to see if he can find a chance now to keep out Setinic. It's going to be not an easy day in the saddle for this Class B victory, that's for sure. But Setinic has already taken one. Look at Julian van der Walt pulling away now from Temple. The road to race man just doesn't have an answer there to that Investchem car out front. And I think we're going to be seeing a double victory here from Julian van der Walt on his welcome return to South African soil and the Extreme Festival. He's a tough man to beat when he was here and he won his championship, and he's a tough man to beat on his return as well. Scott Temple leading things out in this championship overall. As I said, not concerned too much about Van der Walt, but when you're a racer, you definitely want to take victories. You don't want to be bettered by anybody. This is a nice little in-house fight in that mid-pack and towards the back end of the field. You can see leading things out at the moment is Piazza Musso, but there is nothing in it there between Setinic, Tracey and Zach Edwards. Alex Gillespie has closed down on Foss, but hasn't found a way past on him yet. They're still up for grabs there, that 4 and 5 place. Late braking, and you can see just how close it's getting. A mistake there from Alan Meyer. Opens up the door, and Zach Edwards says, "Thank you very much. I'll follow Brendan Tracey through there. No worries at all." Schofield's point of view as they head to the top of the hill, and Andrew Schofield has had one of the best days in the saddle we've seen out of him in a long time. He comes under braking for turn 5, pitches it in. Looking in the rearview mirror, he can't really see Alex Foss behind him, so he's got a comfortable margin that he can probably control, the same kind that this man has got coming to the line. Julian van der Walt going to take the victory here ahead of Scott Temple. Nicholas Van Wheelie will come through for 3rd place. It's Schofield in 4th, beating out Alex Foss. Alex Gillespie finishes in 6th place with Thiago Rebello and Gerard Geldenhuys in the top 8 this time for race 2. Lauren Muir is standing by down in pit lane with Julian van der Walt.
Jules, welcome back to this Formula. You're a previous champion and full house of points today.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the warm welcome. It's good to be back after racing in the US last year. We're also going back again at the end of the month. Thought I'd come up, have a little bit of a warm up because I haven't been in a car in a while. And it all came together this weekend. The team put in a huge effort on the car. Ian, Henrik, and Claudio, they all just did a huge effort, and it came together. The car was really awesome, really hooked up, and managed to come home with a clean sweep.
Heading to the East London Grand Prix circuit now, Scott Temple with a massive advantage. 95 plays 56 with Nicholas Van Wheelie. He's got a lot of work to do. The return of Andrew Rackstraw might throw in a little bit of needle down at East London, and Rebello there in 4th. As always, the off-track action is as good, if not better, when you're looking for a 90 Rand steak, some ice cream, or the Death Star Canteen. Join us after the break for some more action from the South African Superbikes.